Anish, welcome back to Indigenous Food Friday. And today I'm making something that it isn't purely indigenous of the Americas, but kind of like a melting pot of things. We're making fire cider. I make this every fall as we go into winter, because winter we all kind of hibernate. Flu season goes around, our immune systems and metabolism are really challenged during this time. So fire cider is the best way to combat this. Keep your immune system going, keep your heart healthy, and cleanse everything, because during the winter we don't eat as well, we don't have as many fresh foods, we don't get out in the sunshine. So this is the best way to combat this. And it's a mixture, so indigenous people we do make fire cider, but usually we would use, as the liquid, we would use maple vinegar, and I don't have any of that. So the next thing we can use is apple cider vinegar. If you don't have maple vinegar, apple cider vinegar is a good one to go. Make sure it's organic and with the mother. And you can put a hodgepodge of things in it. The basics of any fire cider is gonna be an onion, any color, doesn't matter, garlic, ginger, turmeric, and something really spicy, like jalapenos. You can use habaneros. Some people like ghost peppers. Whatever kind of peppers or heat, it's the heat that is really good for the vitamin C and your immune system. And then herbs. You can use culinary sage, rosemary, oregano, cedar. This time I'm going to put in some echinacea and some hawthorn berry for heart health. Echinacea, of course, to boost your immune system. Hawthorn berry for heart health. And I have high blood pressure, so I've really incorporated hawthorn berry and leaves into my regular daily teas, as well as my fire cider. The turmeric is great for inflammatory, so anything for inflammation. So you have arthritis or headaches or muscle spasms, any kind of pain or swelling, turmeric is great for this. I really like turmeric for all sorts of things. I also have celiac, and my kids do celiac disease, and turmeric is the best thing to bring down the inflammation of your gut. So I use turmeric all the time. Ginger, of course, is great for boosting your metabolism, cleansing, calming down the inflammation, as well as tons of antioxidants and immune boosting nutrients. Echinacea, of course, for your immune system. The sage I use for cleansing, as well as the cedar. They both work on two different levels: physical, mental, heart health, emotional health, and spiritual health. So that's why I like to add sage and cedar. Rosemary is jam-packed with nutrients like vitamin C, vitamin A, and as well as antioxidants and all sorts of things you need to stay healthy. Oregano is great at virus fighting, so that's why I like to add the oregano. Lemon, of course, the citrus is going to help everything come together, and it helps actually pull the nutrients out, as well as the vinegar, but it also holds all of this stuff down in the jars. So, and if you don't have all of this stuff, that's fine. Or if you don't need it, just omit it. This is another thing. You add what you want or what you need, and you omit what you don't or what you don't have. One thing I don't have out here yet, but I'm going to get, are peppercorns. Peppercorns are amazing for antioxidants, as well as their cleansing and anti-inflammatory properties. So this is just what I put in mine, but you put in whatever you want. If you like it spicier and you want more heat, add habaneros or poblanos or whatever kind of peppers you like. Those of you who follow Linda Black Elk, she will put in habaneros, ghost peppers. She really has a palate that can handle that. I do not. But also, side note, if you ever want to learn, she is the best herbalist I've ever known. She knows their scientific name as well as the Lakota name, or the indigenous name of these plants and herbs. She holds classes and in person. If you're ever in the South Dakota area, look up Linda Black Elk. She is amazing. But she'll put in really spicy things. So do whatever is great for your palate as well as whatever it is you are ailing from. Now, when this is finished, I'll show you what you can do with it. So why don't we just get started making our fire cider, and along the way I'll tell you what you can do with it, what it's there for, why you want it, and we'll just go from there and we'll learn together. Okay, so first I'm just gonna start with an onion. And you know, we're just making fire cider. This isn't going to be a gourmet burger or anything like this, so it doesn't have to be pretty. And so you don't waste a lot of time on this. So we're just gonna take the paper off so that we can dice it up. I've got 2 mason jars here. And so we're gonna make enough for 2 quarts of fire cider. So I'm just gonna take an onion, and it can be any color of onion. It doesn't have to be a white onion, whatever onion you have. And you're just gonna kind of cube it up. It doesn't have to be diced really small. We're just putting this into jars. Okay, and then you're gonna put a handful in one jar, a handful in another one. I think we all know about onions and their cleansing properties, which is really what this fire cider does. Ooh, this is a good onion too. Okay, I just had to clean my cutting board because that onion was out of this world. It's a good onion. So now we've got garlic. We're just gonna take the paper off. I don't know why I keep calling it pepper. And we don't really have to worry again, this doesn't have to be pretty. We're gonna just smash this garlic and put it in. Again, garlic is full of antiviral as well as antifungal and antibacterial properties. And we're gonna take an entire head, and this is a big head. So if you just have small garlic, you probably wanna add more than I am. But if you don't like garlic, you don't have to add it, but it is super, super good for you. And this is a great way to incorporate something that's super healthy for you into your diet. Now, what I use fire cider for is when it's all done, we're gonna let this sit for anywhere from 3 months to a year. Linda Black Elk, who I talked to before, she's let it sit before for 2 years and still ate the veggies out of it, and she was fine. The most I've ever let it sit for is about 4 months. I think that's adequate. You're gonna get as much nutrient pulled out of the veggies and the herbs in that amount of time. But again, it's also a way to preserve this food if you want to eat the vegetables after. I generally don't because they are really strong and I don't have a palate for really spicy things. But if you do, yeah, go ahead and eat that stuff. I hear it's kind of the equivalent of like kimchi or something like that. So just whatever you're up for. Now we're just gonna smash these enough to take the paper off. And you kind of want them smashed anyway to get those nutrients out. That one's already peeled. This is a great way to also let off some frustration. You know, if you're angry or frustrated with something, just let it out on the garlic. This is actually very satisfying. And then you're just going to take the paper off that layer and pop it in your jars. Super easy. So after you let it sit for however long you want it to, 3 months to 2 years, I then drain it. I use a fine sifter and I let it all drain out, and I really push all the liquids out. And then put the liquid back into clean mason jars. And then at that point you can add honey. I use local raw honey. If you can get your hands on that, that's the best. But whatever, just make sure it's real honey and not corn syrup. Make sure that's smashed. And then every day, so then I put it in the fridge. Your fire cider, once it's all completed, put it in the fridge. And every day I'll have, shake it up really good and have like a shot glass, just a shot every morning. And it really boosts your immune system, your metabolism. It gives you those heart healthy nutrients that you need. So just one shot glass once a day is all you really need. I also, if I am cooking a recipe that calls for any kind of vinegar or like spicy, either one of those, vinegar or anything that needs a little bit more heat, use your fire cider. You will make the best recipes. It makes the best marinade for like pork chops or even fish if you want like a Jamaican jerk type fish. So incorporate it into your cooking as well as just drinking a shot glass full of it every day. It's a process. Now, my daughter lives in Massachusetts, and when COVID came out, it kind of hit there first before it hit here. So I hurried and made her a batch of fire cider and sent it to her. And she's been pretty healthy. Plus she's working in a lab, so she's inside all the time. And she doesn't get as much vitamin D as she should. Okay, so now we've got the garlic. That looks gorgeous. All ready. So now we'll go on to the ginger. Now remember, it doesn't have to look pretty. I've made sure everything is clean. This is all stuff that I've either grown or I bought it from the farmer's market and it's organic. And you're just gonna slice the ginger whatever way you can, about 1/4 inch thick, and then lay that in there. And we'll do the same for the other jar. It doesn't have to be uniform. It doesn't have to be lengthwise. It can be just coin shaped. It really is your time to shine in this and do whatever feels right for you. Let your body speak to you. If your body is telling you that something needs to go in, listen to it. If your body is telling you to omit something, again, listen to it. Your body will tell you exactly what it needs. Now we're gonna go with the turmeric. I put quite a bit of turmeric in because I do have a lot of inflammation that goes on in this body. I've made sure it's washed. The ginger I grew, the turmeric I did not grow, but I got it from a farmer's market in Nashville. But I still washed it really well. And this, I'm just gonna, the same thing, about 1/4 inch thick. And there you go, pop it in. I love the smell of turmeric. I absolutely love it. It smells like sweet earth, you know? And of course, if you're allergic to any of these ingredients, don't put it in. You can substitute it for something else or put something else in that your body is telling you you need. And then if you do get sick, up your dose of fire cider. Like instead of having 1 shot every day, I'll have 2 shots. And you'll usually kick it out really quick. Because everything in here boosts your metabolism, your immune system. It's great for your heart, spiritually, physically, and mentally. And then there's so many things in here that just cleanse your body. I'm going to push that down a little bit. Make sure we have room. Next, I'm gonna do the peppers. Here I just have jalapenos that I grew in my yard. They're not too spicy. If you really don't want the spicy, so we'll take the tops off. And really you don't have to take the tops off either. But if you really don't want the spicy, you can take out the middle part, the seeds, and then the flesh on the inside. I'm gonna try to brave it and keep those in. So I'll just put those in. So really, I'm just gonna cut these lengthwise and throw them in, because I'm gonna leave the inside flesh and the seeds in there. And then, like Linda Black Elk, she'll add more than one kind of pepper in each jar. So you can do that too if you want jalapenos and then maybe some habaneros or Thai chilies. I think Thai chilies are like her favorite. You can definitely add those as well. My husband would love it, but I don't so much. So now we've got our peppers in there, we've got our turmeric, we had our ginger. Now it's time for some herbs. Actually, I'm gonna put a little bit more turmeric in because I need it. Now, if you've tried fire cider or you have something else that you add to your fire cider, please drop it in the comments and let us know. This is something that has evolved over thousands of years of our ancestors doing this, and we just keep evolving with it. So if you put anything else in your fire cider or you recommend something else, please drop it in the comments. We'll all learn from you too. Okay, so for this one, because I have high blood pressure now, I'm gonna add some hawthorn berries. This is a wild tree that grows all over North America. You've probably seen it and you don't recognize it. I have one that grows in my yard, which is great because now I need it. So I'm gonna add about, this is probably a tablespoon to each jar. And then I've got echinacea that I also grow, and I'm gonna add, this is probably about a half a teaspoon or half a tablespoon to each jar. And then we've got our peppercorns. I'm gonna add, this is about 1 teaspoon per jar. Set those aside. See, it's so easy, you're almost there. And these will last you, 2 jars should last you all winter depending on how many people are in your household. Now I'm going to put in a nice sprig of sage. Just tuck that in here. And then a nice sprig of rosemary. And then I have a nice clump of oregano. The weather is still so warm here. This is all still growing outside. And you're just gonna shove, like really pack this full of stuff. So let's do this side. We've got a nice sprig of our sage, rosemary, oregano. Now you want to make sure after you rinse this, make sure it's all nice and dry. You don't want moisture on it or excessive moisture on it because then you might introduce some mold. So we don't want that. Cut that right off. Tuck that in. So with all of these ingredients, I'm sure you can tell by now how wonderful this is to incorporate in your cooking. And it is. And in a few months, when you sift all this out and drain it, you will smell, your kitchen will smell glorious. Now, I do like to put in a sprig of cedar. Whatever cedar grows around your area, it's different. Here I've got Eastern red cedar, but I really like the cedar that grows up north where my people are, but that cedar doesn't grow here. So I honor the ancestors here. I put sema or tobacco down before I get a twig or whatever I need for that moment. Never take more than what you need. And then I'm gonna put a nice twig in there of cedar. Cedar has been known, I mean, it is filled with antioxidants as well as vitamin C, and its cleansing properties, both physical and spiritual, are incredible. In the spring, when the first buds come out, we will go and eat those, because what it does is it kind of jumpstarts your metabolism from being inside all the time over the winter and eating preserved food like smoked food and that sort of thing. So it just kind of like wakes up your cells to let them know that winter is over and it's time to wake up. Let's put this one in here. Okay, so you can see how packed these jars are already, and we aren't done yet. But these are all of the solids that we're gonna put in here. So we've got our onions, ginger, turmeric, peppers, our herbs, echinacea and hawthorn berry, and then our sage, cedar, oregano. Sage, cedar, and oregano, and rosemary. Okay, so now we've got apple cider vinegar, but traditionally we would use maple vinegar. Now we're just gonna pour this all the way up. You'll want it to cover everything. Okay, so now I've got like a little chopstick. I'm just gonna go through and kind of poke. We want all the air bubbles to come out. Oh, and we've got peppercorn in there too. Why do I keep forgetting peppercorn? That is just rude. Okay, do the same thing over here. And you'll see it makes a lot more space for the vinegar. So we'll add more in just a moment. Okay, add some more. And we want it clear to the top. Perfect. So now we've got these gorgeous lemons. I got these from the farmer's market, so they're organic, but still wash the outside, just in case there's any chemicals or anything like that. I'm gonna cut the end off, and then just cut nice thin strips about 1/4 of an inch. Clearly I need to sharpen my knife. Okay, then we're gonna lay the lemon on top, and that's gonna hold everything down, as well as add more nutrition. See, that does just a gorgeous job. So now we've got our lemons on top. Okay, so now I've just got regular mason jar lids. We're gonna put these on top. If you do have fermentation lids, that's totally fine. In fact, I would encourage using that. I'm using mine right now to make sauerkraut, so I don't have those available. So I'm just gonna use these lids. Now, if they aren't fermentation lids, and so it's not like an acid-proof top, you'll wanna probably check these every day and change them if they start to get discolored or rusty. As well as every few days, you're gonna wanna open it up in case some gas needs to come out, just because you are fermenting and pulling the nutrients from these vegetables and herbs. So we're just gonna put these on top. Lightly close it. Now I'm just gonna put this in a cool, dry place. In the corner of my kitchen pantry is where I'll put these, and then check them every few days to make sure they're not rusting, and change out the lids if I need to. And then when my sauerkraut is done, I'll probably change out the fermentation lids for these lids. So I don't have to check it every day because I'm a little lazy. Other than that, you let it sit, maybe open it up to let some gas escape. It'll be ready in about 3 to 4 months, but you can let it go longer. And then you can eat the you know, after you strain these and then bottle it back up, you can eat it's just, you've pickled the garlic and the turmeric and the onions. You can make a stir fry or something, or just eat them. I will dry them. That's another thing I've done on my TikTok videos, but I don't think I did one on YouTube. You can dry those vegetables, and then I make them into like bouillon cubes, basically, that I can add in to make a really quick sauce or gravy or marinade. And I just keep those in the fridge. Maybe that's something I'll do when I drain these, because I didn't do that for YouTube. So here's your fire cider, so that you're ready for winter season, you are ready for cold and flu season and COVID season, and you'll keep your heart healthy, your spirit healthy, your guts healthy, and your immune system super, super strong. So there you go. Here's your fire cider. Hope you have a great week. Bon appetit.